Hi, good morning, Kenton here. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. If you've watched them before, welcome back. This morning I've been working on a watercolour painting. Here it is here. Hopefully you can see that there okay. So these coastal paintings are based on the Northumberland coastline, but I intentionally keep them loose and general in style so that they can actually represent any sort of stretch of coastline. And this is a piece I've done many times before, but I really find it helps to get me into the right mindset for a day's painting. And I'm going to show you the approach from start to finish. It's going to be in real time. So step one is setting up the painting. I've started by masking off a piece of A4 Arches cotton paper. This paper holds onto the paint really well and allows me to work in layers. I'm going to begin with the sky and work my way down, but first I'm going to wet the top section of the paper to prepare the sky for the sky wash. Step two is paint the sky. I'll start with a wash of French ultramarine mixed with a touch of light red just to grey it down a bit. This creates a more subtle blue tone, perfect for the sky. These coastal paintings are based on the Northumberland coastline, but they're intentionally kept loose and fairly general in style so they could represent any stretch of coastline with dunes and sand. And I do these paintings a lot because, number one, they're popular, but I also use them as a warm-up exercise, a bit like a runner who stretches before a marathon. I find it helps me to get my creative muscles ready for bigger projects and other paintings that I might be working on during the day. Well, once the wash is in place, I'll use a clean brush and a bit of kitchen towel just to lift out some paint and form the clouds. Once the sky's done, I'll let it dry. I can speed up the process with a hairdryer, but today I'm just going to take my time, enjoy a quick coffee, let it dry naturally. While I wait, I think I'll feed the fish and then I'll get back to work once the sky has dried in perfectly. Now that the sky is dry, it's time to add the distant dunes. I'll use a dark blue-grey tone just to give them form and depth, and for the sand I mix yellow ochre and cadmium red just to warm that sand colour up, and I dilute it as I go so the colour fades into the background, creating the illusion of distance. For the foreground I'll add a bit of raw umber just to create some shading and depth, as I want to make the transition from dark to light in a smooth way and the eye is drawn into the sea. Next I work on the water and the foam of the sea using the same blue-grey mix that I mixed for the sky. I'm going to darken it slightly just to match the tone of the water, and I leave some space between the brush strokes just to create the illusion of foam on the shore. This is a nice touch because it just suggests a movement and adds a nice dynamic. Once the water has dried, I'll add some more foreground details. This includes some subtle textures and shading to suggest seaweed, sand, rocks, the things that you often see along the coastline. I like to flick a little bit of paint onto the page. I'm just using the Arches, I'm just using the paint pad as a mask, just to stop it going all over the top of the sky, and this helps to add a little bit of interest and texture to the foreground. One of my favourite parts of the process is adding the figures. I'll always place them using the rule of thirds to ensure that they're positioned in a way that draws your eye into the painting. I sketch them roughly in with a pencil, focusing on the basic form rather than the fine details. The goal is to create the sense of scale of movement without overloading the viewer with information. Once the figures are in place, I finish the foreground with some additional sand and shadows around the rocks, and I lift out a little bit more paint in the foreground there just to define the shapes like rocks or small details, and I think that brings the whole scene together. To finish, I like to just add a few birds in the sky for some added life and interest. They're just tiny details, but they really complete the atmosphere of the painting. Then of course I sign the painting. No artwork is finished without that. And after the signature, I carefully remove the masking tape, revealing the clean edges and it's done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of my work, and I'll see you next time with another painting process. Take care, thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.